Hello, I am Madam Gracious Kanzeni from Educare, Tanzania. Warmly welcome in our best media Educare TZ, so as we can proceed with our A-level tutorial. And here, my students, we have our amazing subject known as chemistry, and our class level is Form 5. So we are proceeding with inorganic chemistry. And we are in the first subtopic, which is all about periodic classification. Tulisema kwamba kwenye periodic classification kuna mainly 4 categories au mainly 4 subtopic you have to cover. The first one, it was all about periodicity, but the second it was about the trends, periodic trends in the physical properties of the element. The third one is about periodic trend in the chemical properties, and the last one is all about the dialogue relationship. Diagonal relationships of the different elements. So my students, we are proceeding in the issue of the periodic trends in the physical properties of the element. And for today, we are going to talk about this the issue of the trend of the melting point and the boiling point. You can remember in the previous session we tried to look that the melting point and the boiling point, their value tend to vary differently. But always the boiling point, their value are higher once you compare it with the melting point. So now we have to start looking on our diagram here, but also we have to look on the explanation of this trend. Kwa sababu tumesema kwamba, for instance, as you see, this is the temperature. Remember, boiling and the melting point, we measure it by using the temperature. So these are the temperatures. But we measure the temperature against the atomic numbers of the elements, the different elements in the periodic table. And particularly here, you can see this key, it tended to show the red line represent the boiling points, while the black line represents the melting point. And you can see yourself here, the values of the boiling point are higher. Once you compare with the values of the boiling point, melting point, which is indicated by the black line here. So now we have to explain why this trend. Why always the melting point is lower once you compare it with the values of the boiling point. Why? And why this trend is like this. As the atomic number increases, you can see the trend inaenda chini, the trends inaenda chini. Lakini pia unaona atomic number ilivyokuwa ni 12, 13, 14, unaona kwamba obvious zina exhibit higher melting point but also higher boiling point. But as the atomic number increases, you can see the melting point and the boiling point also affected and tend to be lower, very low, na inaenda kabisa chini mpaka kwenye negative 273, as you see, kadri atomic number inavyoenda. So now, why this happen? We have to make explanation. That's why we are going to look on the explanation of the observed trends. Sasa hapa tunaenda kuangalia sasa explanation. What are the more description of this trend? Hiyo trend uliyoobserve inavyotokea hapo ya melting point na boiling point. You can see that we have to know why. Now we have to see. So for instance, we have the sodium, magnesium, and the aluminum. Metals with the metallic bonding, in which metals ion are attracted to the delocalized sea of electron. If you can remember about metallic bond. Kwa hiyo tunavyoongelea his metal, for instance, sodium, magnesium, and aluminum, you can see that all these elements fit in the metallic character. Metallic character ambazo zina tend to form the metallic bond. Anasema kwamba these are metals with a metallic bonding. Sasa tukishaangalia mambo ya metallic bonding, we have to refer there in the issue of the delocalized sea of the electrons. Kama unakumbuka wakati tunasoma concept of the general chemistry, in those types of in the chemical bonding, katika specifically the metallic bond, this is all about it. So the charges on the metal ion increase across the period from sodium to aluminum. When we talk about charge, we are talking about those valence. As long as valence has no charge. Lakini kumbuka tunaongelea zile ina maana tunapoongelea charge tunaongelea ile valence ambayo ina nini, ina tunapoongelea valence haina ile charge, lakini tunapoongelea charge tunaongelea ile electrons. For instance, we have 3 electrons, 2 electrons, 1 electrons, whatever. Sasa tunavyoangalia from the sodium, magnesium to aluminium, this is across the period. Ina maana ni the way tunavyo move kutoka kwenye left side of the periodic table to the right side of the periodic table. So you can see as you move from sodium, magnesium, aluminium, you can see that the metal ions increase. Metal ions ndio hizi charge ambazo unaziona, the sodium ion ambayo sodium obviously ana positive 1, lakini pia aluminium ana positive 3, magnesium ana positive 2. As you can remember, tulisema zile groups ndizo zinatupa hizi criteria kujua kwamba okay, huyu element ana electron wangapi, kwa sababu the number of the group represents the number of the electron. Kwa hiyo unashangaa kwamba as you move across the period from left to right, the metallic ions tend to increase. For instance, from the sodium positive 1 to aluminium positive 3. So anasema kwamba since the number of delocalized increase, sasa utaona kwamba zile number of delocalized zinafanyaje, zinaongezeka. So anasema since this number increase, the strength of metallic bonding also increase. Sasa increasing of this metallic metal ions inapelekea kuongezeka kwa uimara wa hii formation of metallic bond. Also increase and hence increase in melting and boiling point. Sasa always you can remember that the element or the molecule exists the stronger bond, therefore it requires large amount of the energy to break that bond. Lakini at the same time tunapokuja kwenye issue ya melting point and boiling point, kumbuka melting, we are talking about a conversion of the substance from maybe solid state to liquid state. So the more the substance is more compressed au ipo very stronger, actually lazima hii bondi itakuwa pia ni nini, ina maana itakuwa na bondi kubwa kiasi kwamba we need the high melting point. Tunahitaji melting point ili kubwa ili kuweza kuensure that ile substance ina melt kutoka kwenye solid state kwenda kwenye liquid state. The same as when we talk about boiling. When a substance it is very harder, very hard, it means that in order to boil that mixture or in order to boil that substance, we require a large amount of temperature in order to ensure that the boiling take place na ile substance inakuwa involved from conversion, ile conversion from one substance or one state to another ina take place. So that's why unaona kwamba as increase in the ionic metallic ion ina increase ile strength, it tends to increase the strength of metallic bond, and therefore once the strength of metallic bond increase, also the melting point and boiling point gonna to be affected. That's why umeona ile observation pale kwamba always the boiling and the melting they have a higher. Kwa hiyo unaona kwamba ile size ile atomic numbers zinavyokuwa zinaongezeka, unaona ile melting na boiling point ilikuwa inakuwa affected, inakuja chini. Lakini as long as zile size au zile atomic number ni ndogo, unaona value zake za melting na boiling point ni kubwa sana sana. So these are the reason. Only 3 reason. Kwa unaweza ukaunganisha haya maelezo ukawa na hizi key concept 3 zikakupa wewe kuweza kuelezea hii scenario. Kwa sababu ya maswali yanatoka kwenye mtihani, unaulizwa hivi unatakiwa uelezee. Unatakiwa uelezee. So you have to know about this information, and therefore you can give exactly or correct answer. So anasema kwamba although aluminium ionize by losing 3 electrons due to its higher total ionization energies. Kwamba aluminium, as we know that yenyewe ina zile electron 3 au tunajua kwamba ina valence shells or valence electrons 3. Kwa hiyo obviously it undergo first ionization energy, second ionization energy and third ionization energy. Hizi ni concept ambazo tushalizisoma huko wakati tunaanza kabisa kufanya discussion ya zile physical properties of the different element. Ionization energy ilikuwa among of the properties. So anasema kwamba although here aluminium ionize by losing the 3 electron, kwamba inafanya ile ionization kwa kulose hizi 3 electron. Why? Because of its higher total ionization energies ambayo ni first, second and third ionization energy. So my student, this is our first discussion of our session. Thank you so much. Now we have to go in the second part of our discussion.